What's up, CAFit? This is Anthony Campo coming at you with CAFit Video Cast Episode 7. I'm here with Vu Trong.
What's up, guys? It's actually episode 9.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't
No,
count.
no big deal.
All right. So, what is CAFit? CAFit's a training methodology philosophy using functional fitness to train for sports and optimal lifestyle. All right. And who we are, I'm Anthony Campo, Program Director at CAFit. My education background is I have a BA in Leadership and Organizational Studies from Chapman University. I'm CrossFit Level 1 certified, Coaches Prep certified, Holy Course, Endurance, Kids. Spent a lot of time with that, and also with OPEX, is Level 1 Nutrition, Program Design, Assessment, Life Coaching. And I've been involved in fitness since 2000, CrossFit since 2005, 2006. I'm here and turn it over to Vu.
All right. I'm Vu Trong, strength CrossFit coach at CAFit. CrossFit Level 1 certified, nationally ranked Olympic weightlifter, and 5 years of training in naval and combat medicine, where I specialized in trauma medicine and sports medicine.
Nice.
All
right. Purpose of this video cast is to educate you all. You know, we really want to make sure you're empowered with your fitness and not just a drone in the fitness industry army. So also want you to go behind the scenes, see what's in our minds and how we think about fitness and what we're doing with our programming, with our education, and all that stuff.
Right, and make sure we give you enough knowledge to filter out all the rumors and all that new trend these days.
Yeah. You know, get rid of those myths.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll always start out with a positive focus. We'll talk a little bit about what's exciting, what's cool that happened in the past week. Just gonna get the week started out right. Think about being positive, and then we're gonna go ahead and talk about the program for both function and fitness coming up for next week. Now that testing is done, you're gonna be excited to see what training is gonna look like. All right, and then we're gonna go over the topic of the day, or of the week, I should say, how to implement the zone diet, and finally we'll close out with the announcements.
Awesome.
All right, let's roll into what's good.
All right, positive focus for me this week. Last week it was almost ready to go, but it is live and we are running with it. CAFitUSA.com is up and live. So some of you that visit our site have seen that over the last week. So yeah, poke around. Working right now on getting a online store configured and ready to go.
Nice. For myself, my team, New England Patriots, they're going to the Super Bowl for the 6th time. So hopefully this time they'll actually win it.
Yep. Most Super Bowl appearances, huh? Tom Brady. It's pretty cool.
Bill Belichick.
All right. Let's move on to the program for next week.
This is
function. We'll after this week, because we don't have all the data, so next week's kind of like a layover week as far as like the goal specific for function and fitness. Starting next week, I'll come out with an avatar of function and an avatar of fitness. Avatar meaning that kind of like a person, a hypothetical person that represents the overall group that trains in those classes. So this week, bunch of just nothing really specific that this week isn't playing into the overall plan. So 20-minute AMRAP on Monday is just a complete aerobic workout, completely monostructure. So you have 200-meter run, 20 double unders, 250-meter row. So you'll have some practice in there with your double unders. So use that as a skill, and do not avoid them. Don't try to cherry pick those and just go to singles. Then 3 rounds, 10 chest to bar pull-ups, 3 overhead squats. Real quick, fast workout.
I don't know, man. It seems like no one likes to do this.
Yeah.
No one likes to cherry pick those things.
Yeah, that's not good.
Nope.
All right. Then a longer workout, 30-minute AMRAP, 500-meter row, 10 push-ups, 10 squat cleans. So pretty long one. It's gonna, require some, muscle endurance there with 30 minutes of push-ups and squat cleans, and there's gonna be a breathing aspect. So focus on that. Break them up. Don't go to failure. And then Friday's 5 rounds, Grasshopper raise, and 20 walking lunges with 5 handstand push-ups.
Some core there.
Yeah.
Good. Core there.
A little bit of single leg work, all that. Okay. We'll move on to fitness. Same thing. This isn't playing into the master plan, but if we look at power clean every 30 seconds for 10 minutes, that would be a CP battery type of workout. So CP battery meaning creatine phosphate. In terms of training, it looks like to charge up your explosive system. And this should be pretty heavy, or 55 to 65%. What's that?
So I guess it's like the CP battery is like the ability to regenerate that high explosive power in a short period of time.
Yes, absolutely. So, and then into a short, mixed modal, 30 squat snatches at 135, which is going to be kind of rough because you have to squat with it. And then if you have any time left over, then you'll AMRAP 135 overhead squats, rest 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and then a 5-minute AMRAP, 10 muscle ups. So, and then a 10-minute power clean and jerk in the remainder.
Whoa, that's a tough one.
It's kind of there's a mental aspect to this, to like really get yourself, can you get through this first, get past that 30 and that 30 squat snatches and the 30-10 muscle ups in the second part, and then be able to continue on in that. So you're going to feel some deep breathing, squats, and there's going to be some leg burn there. So turning over the shoulders for 30 times is going to be hard, and then be able to hold that over top. And then 4 sets on Tuesday, row 200 meters, 15 wall balls, 10 box jump overs, 10 burpees. It's just an aerobic piece. Just, get yourself moving and continue. Like, it should just look like row 200 meter, 15 wall balls, 10 burpees. 10 box jumps, 10 burpees. Try to go at a pace that you can continue that for that full set, and then try to pick up the pace and kind of teeter on that aspect of I need to take a break and I can't do all this stuff unbroken. Not saying that you have to go unbroken on the 15 wall balls, 16 box jump overs, but that's the mindset. Think of it as if you were going to go out and run for 5 minutes at a time, nice and cyclical. Okay.
So you're saying that we should be able to, I guess, increase its pace, meaning let's say our first set is finished in about 3 minutes. The second set should be 250. Is that what you're kind of getting at?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think necessarily, because relative to your fatigue, I don't know if that's possible. It might be possible, but that's what you're shooting for, right? So your effort, your pace, you might have to up your effort more if you keep up your pace,
Right.
but it's almost like up your effort and try to get down to that 250. So
Right.
if you look at relative to how much fatigue that you have, you're trying to up your pace, even if it doesn't
Right.
happen. You up your effort, you know,
Yeah. Got it.
because you don't want to sandbag out that first set too much. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it shouldn't be a big jump. It's like it's if you were on a rower and you were rowing at 145, maybe you went 143 for the second set, and then
Uh,
142 for the whatever, and in your
yeah.
rate of perceived exertion, it might be 80, 83, or 85, 87, 90, or something like that in your rate of perceived exertion.
Right.
All right, so Wednesday, build up to a tough
Hopefully.
squat clean in 10 minutes, and then death by squat clean at 65% of A.
Ooh,
Okay, yeah. So death by squat clean. Um,
that's
what?
muscle endurance right there.
Yeah. Well, there's gonna be some crappy breathing aspect to that too, because death by means the first minute you'll do 1 rep, second minute you'll do 2 reps, the third minute you do 3, so on and so forth until you cannot complete the allotted number of reps in that minute.
Yep.
So, yep. And then we'll go 3 minutes max calories on the rower. So just kind of empty it out, burn
That's
it.
great.
So you shouldn't leave anything left. You should roll off that rower.
Right.
All right. And then Thursday, always rest, recover, go get out in the sun. Go clear your mind. Do that. Okay. And then Friday, you'll row 1,000 meters, 25 double unders, 750-meter row, 50 double unders. So it's just a big aerobic piece. And there's an aspect of heavy breathing and being able to continue your double unders and finishing off with the hardest set after you should be pretty fatigued. All right. So that's next week's program. All right. On to the topic of the week.
Zone implementation. So the concept of zone is pretty simple. Most of us who have attended or doing the CAFit, I'm sorry, not CAFit, the Fit for Life nutrition challenge, understand that the reason why we do zone is because we want to control the insulin in the body, and doing the zone will give you like the best insulin response, keep it low while give you enough energy to go throughout the day. But the implementation of it can be a little bit hairy. So this is to make it simple. That's why we do it in this slide. So the concept is this: every time you eat, it must be a correct ratio between all three macronutrients: protein, carbohydrates, and fat. So the ratio goes 40% carbohydrates, 30% protein, and 30% fat. So, but to dumb it down even further, it's pretty simple. They call it a block. So one block is 1.5 grams of fat with 7 grams of protein and 9 grams of carbs. Pretty simple there.
Yeah. And this is just the baseline. And then if you look at the protein, we jumped a slide. The protein, carbs, and fat, if you look at those and think of those as dials, right, like on a equalizer of a stereo, and you need to just get the best sound, eventually you're going to monitor how your performance, how your body fat, how your life, how you feel, all these different aspects of your lifestyle, mood, all this stuff, sleep. If that's all good, then you don't want to change anything. You keep progressing, you don't want to change anything. If everything's going in the right direction. But if something starts to change, then we want to play with these dials of protein, carbs, and fat to optimize your new specific nutrition. And that's the individualized approach we like to take, with our one-on-one consultations and stuff. All right. So how to calculate block. So basically, there's 3 major things that you need to calculate. You need to take in consideration your lean body mass, your activity level, Okay. We take, and then you'll get your blocks. Okay. So basically, uh, your lean body mass is everything besides your fat. Okay. So for instance, if you're a 200-pound person and have 10% body fat, you have 180 pounds of lean body mass. So the whole idea is not to fuel that 200 pounds, but to fuel the 180. Okay. And then we have to look at how much, if you look at like your lean body mass is an engine, and you got to figure out how much fuel that engine needs. So if you would drive from here to San Francisco, you would know in your car how much fuel that is. So that's what this equation is going to do. So this says estimate your lean body mass. You can do that, but you can also get body fat tested that'll give you an idea of what that is. So we get your body fat, we take your body fat percentage and multiply it by your present body weight, and we get your fat weight. Okay. Then we take your total weight minus your fat weight equals your lean body mass. Okay. So this 148 is what we need to fuel. All right. So then we get your rate, your activity level. Okay. So if you were going to just do the zone and not work out at all, you'd be at a 0.5. So we'd basically multiply 0.5 148 by 0.5. Okay. If you're going to work out 6-7 times a week, you'll go up to 1.0, and sometimes more depending on the athlete. Okay. So then you take your activity level, like I said, multiply it by your lean body mass, and you get your daily protein requirement. So for this, you have 148 grams. Then you divide that by 7. Then that equals 21.3 blocks per day. Okay? So that's the total number of blocks you're allowed. And you're like, we're going to go into details about how to look into that and how to figure that, how to make a zone day, how to do that throughout the day, and how to make a meal. All right.
All right. So from the previous slide, we now know that we're going to need 21 blocks per day. That means 21 blocks of fat, 21 blocks of protein, and 21 blocks of carbs a day. I was talking to one of the members, and they thought 21 blocks a day, meaning you have to get 7 blocks of fat, 7 blocks of protein, and 7 blocks of carbs. That's not true. You have to have 21 blocks of each macronutrient. So that's, turns out to be quite a bit to eat, but it's doable. So the meal is going to get divided into something like this. Breakfast, you can have 6 blocks. Snack, 1 block. Lunch, again, 6 blocks. Snack, 1 block. And dinner, 7 blocks. As long as you can divide it up however many you want. So you can start from as low as 3 meals a day up to, 6 or 7 meals a day, as long as you combine for a total of 21 blocks a day on a block requirement. Now, it's not recommended to let's say you have the ratio is off, meaning 1 meal you have 6 blocks of carbs and 6 blocks of fat, and then only 5 blocks of protein, and trying to make up the protein later. That doesn't work like that. Okay, you should have the balanced ratio throughout the meals.
All right. Here's an example of a male, right, that eats 4 blocks for meals. Okay, so he has 4 block, 10. So he's 18 blocks per day. Okay, so breakfast is going to look like 4 blocks of protein, 4 blocks of carbs, and 4 blocks of fat. Just like what Vu was saying a little earlier, is really looking at that aspect of it's not that you just have 7 like before. Okay. All right, so let's move on to this slide. Examples based on body type. So here's some so when you're given a certain amount of blocks, so you figure that out for yourself, and let's say you have 10, 11, this is how it's recommended distributed. Okay, about 5 meals a day. for all these. So these are all broken up into 5 meals. You have anywhere from 10 blocks to 25 blocks. So, the larger the person, the more blocks that they have. So this is a lot of food. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Be a lot of food, huh? Would you ever calculate? Have you calculated your blocks lately, Boo?
Well, I haven't calculated in blocks, but I got it right here. Hold on, let me pull it up. Where is it? There we go. So I basically have 112 divided by 7, around 112 grams of protein a day. So which is 16 block of protein. 37.5. About gosh, that's 16 blocks of protein.
Nice.
But my ratio is a little off because I'm working with a nutritionist and he's having me eating a lot of more carbs than usual.
Yeah, yeah. That's why it's an individual
Right.
approach. All right, so let's move on to a meal example. So you're like, okay, great, blocks. I get this many blocks per day, but how do I actually do it? How do I make a meal? Okay, so in this example, there's a 6-block meal. So you have 6 ounces of steak, which is 6 blocks of protein. 18 apricots, which is 6 blocks of carbs. Okay, and 18 almonds, which is 6 blocks of fat. Okay, so that all equals out. So it's 6, 6, and 6.
Yep.
So all right. So here's a 1-block snack example. 1 hard-boiled egg is equal to 1 block of protein. Half an apple is 1 block of carbs, and 3 almonds is 1 block of fat. So every time you eat a meal, you got a fat source, a protein source, and a carb source. Now,
Yep.
there are, for instance, inside, within the almonds or the fats, a lot of times there's some carbs and some protein. We don't calculate that. Vice versa
Right.
with the protein, there's fat in there. We don't calculate that either. There's an assumption that there is fat in there, so it just works out to be like that.
Yeah, make it simple.
You're like, great. I get that I have to have a block of each, and I get this example. But what if I want to have chicken? All right. So what we have next is a block chart. Okay. So this is an example. It's a condensed version. So an example is chicken breast. 1 ounce of chicken breast is 1 block. Okay. 1 ounce of turkey breast is 1 block. Ground turkey, 1.5 ounces is 1 block, and so on and so forth. Okay, so what we want to do, we'll give you a PDF with this presentation, a downloadable PDF that'll have a expanded block chart of carbohydrates, fats, and protein, and then also with carbohydrates have favorable and unfavorable. Stick with the favorable for the majority of the time. Okay. But also, if you ever have any questions, just Google it. Just Google lamb, 1 block of lamb. And you'll find references online for it.
Yeah.
Okay? Real simple. So examples of carbohydrate block chart here. 2 cups of celery is 1 block.
Celery.
A little quick tip. One thing I used to do a lot, if I was gonna make, because we get a lot of times people are like, well, look, if I have spinach, I have to have 4 cups of spinach. Okay.
So
Yeah, that's a lot. But if you go to, for instance, like if you're gonna make a scramble, here's an example. Here's a way to do it. Let's say you're gonna make like scrambled eggs, and you're going to make a 4-block meal. So you would have 4 eggs, because 1 block of protein is 1 egg. Okay, and then the carbohydrates is where everybody gets tripped up. So you might give 4 cups of spinach, which is 4 blocks. I'm sorry, 1 block. Okay. You might even just cut up either a tomato or half a tomato. But let's say you did onions. Okay. Spinach, 2/3 a cup of onions. There's 2 blocks. 3 cups of mushrooms. There's 3 blocks. Okay. Now we can have a little salsa with that. So you might want to do half cup. You can do that, or you could even do half an apple. Okay, and that would complete your 4 blocks. So that's something simple. So don't get stuck into a rabbit hole where you're eating you're having 16 cups of spinach because you're not varying up that what you're eating. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, and a tip for some of the actually some of the leaner athletes, I actually recommend a little bit faster carb source, especially after workout, for better recovery. Like sweet potatoes will be great for after workout.
Yeah. All right. So we get in the fat block chart. List of examples. Go through this. These are sources of fats. Okay. And then go from there. All right. Keep it simple. So we recommend for the first 3 to 4 weeks, you weigh and measure everything. This will give you this will give you the keen eye to figure out how much something is. Okay. Like for instance, you'll be able to eyeball how much 3-4 ounces of protein is. Okay. And what 1 cup of grapes or how many almonds is I already know a handful of almonds for me is 1/4 cup. Okay. And then other than that, so here's some examples. So after that 3 to 4 weeks, go ahead and start eyeballing it. Don't be so, you have to weigh and measure everything.
Right.
All right.
All right, announcement. Last week of testing, so enter your last few score into a comment box on our website and on our Facebook page. This will help us get an idea for the cycle, this coming up cycle for programming. Also, don't forget to lock your Fit for Life challenge score and share your experience with us on our Facebook page. It's kind of just bring everyone that's doing it together. You can not switch out, I'm sorry, to exchange recipe and exchange, like a hack. Like, okay, I found this way to absorb 6 blocks of carbs with just greens, with a green. So those are some good to share. All right, and Anthony's Deadlift Skill Clinic will be on January 31st. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're just gonna review, kind of the performance, tips for the deadlift. Go over sumo deadlift, go over conventional deadlift, drills to increase your deadlift. So it'll all be about deadlift. So if you want to pick up heavy stuff, then you'll want to come to that skill clinic.
All right.
All right. So if you have any questions, suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Also, fill out the survey. You'll get a survey after this, giving us feedback on today's video cast. So other than that, till next time.
See ya.